Hello, welcome back to the channel. So let's continue our previous video and do some more problems on questions related to integration by parts. So again, a basic overview about integration by parts. So whenever you have to calculate a definite or an indefinite integral where you have a combination of two functions for which you cannot use substitution or any other general methods in order to solve that integral, that would give you an idea that you most likely have to use the integration by parts approach in order to solve that integral. So for example, in this question, you are noticing that you have two functions. You have one function which is log x and the other function is 1 upon x to the power 7. And in this case, you'll realize that you cannot use substitution in this case or any general method in order to solve this integral, right? So that is why it gives us an idea that we have to indeed use integration by parts in order to solve this integral rather than following the other general methods that we discussed in the previous videos. So that is why if you want a good idea about how we use integration by parts in order to solve these type of questions, I would highly suggest you to first watch my previous video, which you can also find on the I button above. So again, in order to solve the integral, the indefinite integral of a combination of two functions using integration by parts, what we do is, if you want to calculate the integral of f of x, g of x dx, you'll take the first function as it is, integration of second, and have it in your first expression. Then you'll take the differentiation of first, integration of second, and then the integration of this whole expression as your second expression. You'll subtract both of these expressions, and then if you're calculating an indefinite integral, you'll add a constant of integration in this case. Again, if you want to get a good idea about what this formula is, I'll suggest you to first watch the previous video and then come back to this video in order to solve this question. So based on this formula, let's solve this question. And again, a very important point that we also discussed in the last video, whenever you are choosing your first function and second function, always choose your second function to be the one you already know an integral for. So for example, in this case, since we have two functions, one is log x and one is 1 upon x to the power 7, and in this case we don't know about the integration of log x, right? But we indeed know about the integration of 1 by x to the power 7, which would be using the x to the power n rule, right? So that is why in this case we'll consider our g of x to be 1 upon x to the power 7 and our f of x to be log x in this case, which we'll also see later on in this video. So again, in this question you have to calculate the integral of log of x upon x to the power 7 dx. So in order to simplify this, let's write this as log of x times x to the power negative 7 dx, right? So in this case, since we don't know the integral for log of x, but we indeed know the integral for x to the power minus 7, so we'll consider our g of x to be this one, which is a second function to be this one, and the first function would be log of x. So again, in this case, our f of x is log of x and our g of x in this case is x to the power minus 7, right? And now in order to solve this integral, let's shift this integral over here. So we have identified our first function and the second function. Now let's calculate this integral using integration by parts in this case, right? So again, in order to solve that, what we'll do is we will take the first function as it is. We'll calculate the integral of the second function minus the differentiation of first function and then integration of second function again, and then whatever we have as the answer to this expression, we'll take the integral of this whole expression and we'll adjust the constant of integration at the end, right? When we have solved the whole question, we'll add the constant of integration at the end. So now in order to simplify this equation over here, we would have log x times integral x to the power minus 7 dx, right? So the integral x to the power minus 7 can be written as x to the power minus 7 plus 1 upon minus 7 plus 1, right? Because we know that the integral of x to the power n dx is x to the power n plus 1 upon n plus 1, right? So that is what I have used over here. Since our n was negative 7 in this case, the integral of x to the power negative 7 would be x to the power negative 7 plus 1 upon negative 7 plus 1 in this case. So we are done with the first expression. Now let's calculate the second expression. So in this case, the derivative of log of x is again 1 over x. The integral of x to the power minus 7 dx is again this one. So let's write it down. It would be x to the power minus 7 plus 1 upon minus 7 plus 1. And then once we are done calculating this expression, we'll take the integral of this whole expression with respect to dx, right? So now let's solve this again. If we solve this again, we'll get log of x to the power minus 7 plus 1 is x to the power minus 6. The denominator would be minus 6 minus of the second expression in this case would be integral 1 by x times again x to the power minus 6 upon minus 6 and dx in this case, right? So now let's simplify this down. The first expression would be minus 1 by 6 times log of x to the power minus 6 minus of x to the power minus 6 upon x can be written as x to the power minus 6 minus 1, right? Which would be x to the power minus 7 in this case, right? And we can take the negative 6 out. So if we take the negative 6 out with this negative sign, it would become plus 1 by 6 over here, right? So that is why we can write plus 1 by 6 over here, and this would be x to the power minus 7 dx again, right? So now let's simplify this expression again. We will get minus 1 upon 6 log x to the power minus 6 can be written as 1 upon x to the power 6. So the first expression would be this one, and we can again write the integral of x to the power negative 7 as x to the power negative 7 plus 1 upon negative 7 plus 1. And now since we have solved every component of the indefinite integral, we'll add a constant of integration at the last, right? So the final answer in this case would simply be negative 1 by 6 log of x upon x to the power 6 plus 1 by 6 times minus 6 times x to the power minus 6 plus c, which would be simplified to minus 1 by 6 log of x upon x to the power 6 minus 1 by 36. X to the power minus 6 can be written as 1 upon x to the power 6 plus c, right? So this would be your final answer to this integral over here. So that's it for this video. We again solved this question using the basic formula of integration by parts. So feel free to comment down in this video if you have any doubts related to this question or related to any specific portion in the video as well. Follow the channel in order to get notified about the other videos that I'll be uploading. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Take care.